Thanks, Kevo. Let's go to the NFL, where everyone's waiting on the Vikings' decision on Sam Darnold. So he is a free agent after having the best season of his career and leading Minnesota to 14 wins. The franchise tag window opened on Tuesday. That is an option for them at about $40 million for next season. But of course, J.J. McCarthy is waiting in the wings. We've got the NFL Brain Trust with us now, analysts Ben Solak and Mina Kimes. All right, so Ben, you've got a story up right now on ESPN Plus. It talks about quarterback reclamation project. Just a reminder for the folks at home, your keys to a successful quarterback reclamation are: the quarterback has to actually be sort of good. Pay attention to the previous stops. Low expectations are great, and great coaching definitely helps, but great wide receiver play might be more important. So, Ben, with all of that in mind, who is a player that has potential to fit that description this offseason?
I think the name this offseason is the same name as last offseason. That's Justin Fields, who was leaving the Bears, then joined the Steelers, and obviously didn't really get the reclamation project off the ground. But if there's something to learn from the history of Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith, it's that it's not necessarily the first landing spot that does it for a guy. You have to end up in the right offensive milieu, right, of a good play caller and a good receiver. Kind of all the stars have to align. And in Pittsburgh, for both Fields and Wilson, it clearly wasn't the case, right? Where they didn't have the great wide receiver play, and it was a very cautious defensive-oriented approach. And so Fields still has that great physical talent. He still has that young age. He's got that dual threat ability that I think is worth just kicking the tires on in 2025 and maybe even beyond.
Yeah, I don't think Fields is going to have his choice of teams this offseason, but there are a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, and one of them that I don't think is going to have a lot of money or potentially a high enough draft pick to go after one is the New York Jets, which, hear me out, wouldn't be the worst spot for Justin Fields. You're bringing in an offensive coordinator from Detroit, so I suspect there's going to be under center play action, which he can run. You've got a receiver in Garrett Wilson who can get open on extended plays and create downfield. And it's a run game that I do think could be better, particularly with the addition of, as Ben said, a dual threat quarterback. So I don't hate that as a destination for both Justin Fields or for the Jets.
I'm snickering at how many octaves high your voice got when you said it wouldn't be the worst spot. No, certainly. Give me another one, Ben. Give me another, what you think would be a great reclamation project this offseason at quarterback.
I think Daniel Jones is going to get some adjacency bump from being near Sam Darnold, being on the Vikings for the second half of the year with Kevin O'Connell. But we have another early ex-first-round pick who was largely on a dysfunctional franchise, right? Before Malik Neighbors was out there catching passes, who was the best receiver that the Daniel Jones threw to, right? It was Golden Tate. It was Darren Waller. It was Darius Slayton. They just never had a good offensive nucleus with the Giants. He's still a big guy. He's still got some movement skills. And again, it's going to be a QB2 for a little bit, take a breather for a little bit, maybe an opportunity at a job in the future for Daniel Jones, but I promise you, for a guy this high of draft capital, Lee's going to check back in on him.
Boy, if you had told me adjacency to Sam Darnold would be seen as a positive and potential boost a year ago, I would have been like, this is a fever dream, but you're absolutely right. And for that exact reason, Ben, I kind of think Daniel Jones should consider staying in Minnesota if they move on from Darnold and decide to go with the young quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, who obviously, of course, didn't play last year because of his injury. And that's part of the reason why. Because of that injury, there is some uncertainty around him. They are going to need a reliable, proven backup. And Jones might actually get some opportunities to play, which, as we saw with Darnold, the opportunity to play in this offense, this play caller and these weapons is a gift. I think there will be a chance for him to continue rebuilding his status perhaps a little bit, and Minnesota is the best place for that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, lest we forget that Jones did start a playoff victory for the Giants just a couple of years ago. Maybe he didn't live up to the contract money, but certainly an opportunity to prove himself elsewhere. Ben Solak, Mina Kimes, that's what the critics should know, the critics of Daniel Jones. Get off his back. Thanks, guys.